Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, today we've got a map which has a real nostalgic feel to that, and by that I mean it feels like we're going back to 2016. The good news is I'm talking more about the general aesthetics than the standards, because the standards are actually pretty damned good. The creator has got a wicked sense of humour from what I can tell. Not only that, quite surprisingly,
it's my first map.
That's right. When you see the actual standards of the road laying, this is somebody who understands the game, can actually work the game. And that is actually quite some credit right there for a first map. But before we have a look at the map, one little favour to ask of you. That's right, it's the daily reminder. That's right, hitting that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is Svanvik by PullaElisa. PullaElisa, well done. Okay, it does feel really retro. The first glance of this, you're thinking this is not going to be that great. It's actually better than it looks. There's your start square, a little bit of river running through with it, and I'll tell you what, there's credit in that as well. Terrain heights, we've got buildable areas with I like that true boreal kind of vibe to it, isn't there, really? Real Scandinavian breath of fresh air. Resources look like that. And then if we have a little look at the fishing, for those of you that care, there's your fishing. It's mostly anchovies with the salmon in the rivers. Okay, off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, it's a mass transit map. You will need mass transit for this one. And then if we scroll the page up a little bit, you'll see we've got a few trees. There's network extensions too as well. Realistic 1.4.5 European theme. And we'll be using the Relight 2 Natural LUTs from the more Relight LUTs set. Now, a few of you will grumble and say, why have we got network extensions too when we've got mass transit as well? Well, deal with it. Okay? Deal with it. It is possible to have a DLC and have a mod pack as well. Yeah, you could argue you don't really necessarily need both. If you got one, you can forego the other. But we've got them listed as both, so that's what we've got to roll with. So the aesthetics, I'm looking at it from here, and it's just like the shapes of the mountains, the shape of the terrain, and just the general layout of the map does feel very, very dated, really, for this sort of game. There's your first intersection. Intersections are all excellent. Okay, I'm saying it now. The intersections are all very lovely work indeed. Very slick, very tidy. And no grumbles there. And that's not 2016 standards. That is very much 2020 standards. Good to say. It's a realistic looking map, even though I don't totally buy into it. It is a realistic map. The rail, when we get to it, will be just a little bit beyond the bounds. It's okay within the context of the game, of course. Always within the context of the game. Here's those network extensions to 2-lane highways. And again, now this is your start square intersection. The way that it's laid out, you may get a little bit of traffic issues. If you're going for the big city build, you might need to do a little bit of work here with your traffic manager present edition or relaying it. And it's your start square roundabout, which is fine. Although I'm going to say that we've got these 2-lane roads, and of course it's a crosswalk on every single one. If we upgrade all of those 2-lane roads to the network extensions to highways, or even the mass transit highways, doesn't really make any difference. I'll go with that one there, and then we'll just upgrade these 1, 2, 3. That gets rid of the crosswalks, and you'll get a much smoother traffic flow through that start square roundabout. Not the biggest trouble in the world, but I thought I'd make a point of it. Right, okay, which means we've got to have a look at the asset of the day. Now, this is a pack, a modular pack. It comes with, I think it's 4 units. I can't remember now. Yeah, we've got 2 end units, a left end, a right end. You've got a small connector piece, and you've got a corner unit. And you can put them together in any pattern you like to produce any shape you like. Very nice indeed. Modular apartment pack by Smilies. Of course, it's by Smilies. When you've got something this good, it's always by one of the top guys, and Smilies is definitely one of those. Factoids, because factoids, on today's date, the 21st of May in 1688, the English satirical, speak properly, the English satirical poet Andrew Pope, Alexandra Pope's brother, no, Alexandra Pope, I'm not doing very well, am I, was born. He grew to be only 4 foot 6 inches tall, which is almost as tall as me. Oh, I'm a strapping lad. There you go. That's today's factoid of the day. Happy birthday, Alexander Pope. Right, and what we got here, of course, is the Modular Apartment Pack by Smilies. Very lovely work indeed. Thank you. And it is just there's just so many great assets on the workshop now. It's I could do a show just doing just assets. But yeah, people don't want to watch that though. Sadly, you just see the analytics on the watch time. The amount of people that actually skip the asset review. I know. Can you believe it? Skipping a factoid. It's just not right, is it? Where were we? Yeah, so we're following the highways. Got a little bit of the glitching between the highways. If it was a little bit further apart or a little bit closer together, those little glitchy terrainy type bits in between would be cleaned up. It's not the worst thing in the world at all by any stretch of the imagination. If you've got the Surface Painter mod, you could run along there and just paint over them and that'd be fine. You'd be absolutely fine. And a lot of you don't care, actually. I know when I used to mention this in virtually every map, when virtually every map had it, a lot of you were saying, no, it's fine, I don't care. You can't do anything about it. Well, you can do something about it. You can move the highways further apart and move them closer together. Yeah. Okay. No, anyway, yeah, I really don't have much of a problem. I'm just saying what I see. It wouldn't bother me if I was playing this map. No intentions of actually playing it. It's like I say, not the layout, but the overall feel is a little bit too retro. I mean, there are multiple maps of this kind of vibe. In fact, the very first map of the year I did, which was by Carnador, I'm trying to remember what it was called now. Darn it. No, it's gone. But there was a map by Carnador, which was my choice for my first ever map of the year, and it had a similar sort of vibe to this, although that was more of a valley, a river valley, and this is more a coastal river valley thing. Anyway, it's not even a direct match, but yeah, there are countless other maps that you could probably play, which would be as fun as this one. But then again, looking at it, the layout, if this is what you're looking for, hey, there are worse maps you can choose than this one. And of course, the standards of networking are really very good on this one. So there's going to be no cleaning up to do. You can just swoop straight in. Yeah, the rail is a little bit gradienty in places, but nothing that you won't easily won't find it difficult. Won't find it difficult to overlook. Good grief. I need a drink. Let me go and grab a drink. I'll be back in just a moment.
Are you struggling with water physics in the game? Are you constantly drowning and flooding your soggy little sins? Then you need the Beginner's Guide to Water Physics by BonBonB. Click the information button now.
Made me chuckle. Are you struggling with water physics? I'm struggling with speech, full stop, at the moment. It's really very, very troublesome for me. Not good when you're a YouTuber, and it's quite critical that you can actually get some words out in order correctly, you know? Anyway, we've got shipping routes at Svanvik by PullaElisa, and they're fine, absolutely fine. We've got one that runs down the route there. You've got another one that comes up here, and we've got a little brassiere connection coming up in a moment. We'll have a little of the old bikini top connection right there and there. Well, one strap goes up that way, and the other strap goes up the other way, and then you've got the back strap that comes down the side here. It does connect off into a bay right there, but if you're coming from the opposite direction, you could do a little curve there. That's a minor grumble. It's kind of off towards the edge of the map as well, so you probably won't even notice ships doing a U-turn there. Water flow. Right, this is the river that runs through the start square. You could argue it's a little bit shallow and a little bit light. You could argue that. but I don't think it's necessarily going to be a huge problem. For a start, you're not too far from the bay, so once you get to a decent size, you can actually buy into the bay, get a few more water tiles. But I'm going to show you that river in a few moments. A few minutes or a few moments. Make up your word. Make up your word, choosing your mind. Come on. Oh dear. I don't know if I'm just tired or whether I need to drink more or drink fewer or less or not so much. Help. Okay, right. Let's focus on some stuff like the castle. Actually, quite like it. Love the rock detailing across the front of it here. The shape of the castle is fine. It's not the most majestic thing I've ever seen, but it's far from the worst castle I've seen. I could buy into that. It's reasonably fine. I'm going with. I think fine's the word. I have a problem with it. I could say the only thing I do have a bit of a grumble with is when you get these jetties, right? The jetties are obviously dilapidated, crumbling away, and when you put two together, it's quite obvious that they are direct replicas of each other. Especially when you have them as close together as this. Honestly, I would just only ever use one of these, unless you can find a way of disguising the second one. If you're going with the vanilla jetties, that is. If you're going vanilla jetties, they just have a bit of a problem. Look, I've even left the apartments in place from the asset review. Oh dear, normally deleted them by now. The mountains, really striking mountains. Got some quite nice little mountain streams as well. Not sure what this tree's doing on the top of this mountain here. He looks a little forlorn. I'm not buying that myself, but I think it was probably deliberate. I think that's probably just a deliberate little giggle by the creator. You'll see the creator does. I did mention about a sense of humour. You'll see the sense of humour come through. There's a water spawn point up here. I don't mind that. That's all right. You know, the crumbly rock is sort of like the water is just like wearing the rock away. I can buy into that. What more have we got going on? Let's have a look. What have I missed that I wanted to show you? Yeah, the water. This is the start square water flow, right? This river here. It looks a bit light and a little bit shallow. But if I show you the water spawn point, it's right there. I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. You can get enough water out of that spawn point, and the spawn point's even further down as well. I think it'd be okay, you know. I was a little bit concerned, but with the water spawn point so close, that's pretty good. We're at the destination here with the rail, the terminus with the rail, and everybody's favourite factory. Love the way it's been cleared of trees, and the way we've got the bit of tree detailing around there as well, make it quite obvious. And I like the farms. I really like the shapes of these farms. We haven't gone overboard with them either. It's clean, it's tidy, I like that. But what I really like, speaking of senses of humour, right? Water spawn points. This is deep in the fog. Nobody will ever see this, right? But the water spawn point for this river, well, I'll just let you add your own commentary for this one. While I remind you that it's roundabouts now, I ask you to... Oh yeah. I ask you to vote on this map. Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. I want this to be so much. Okay, it's got a nostalgic feel. It's got a nice, fresh vibe to it. It's playable. It looks okay. And that for me is the biggest problem with the map, is it just looks okay. It's not unattractive in any way, shape or form. I wanted to go 4 stars. I just couldn't find an argument to put in that 4th star. 3 stars is a pass mark. 3 stars is absolutely fine. You're not going to hate playing on this map. 3 stars it is. Detailing. There are a couple of things I could grumble about, like the placement of those jetties or whatever, but I still think all told the standards are high enough to get 4 stars. And I'm going to do it. And we're going to rubber stamp it with the placement of that shipwreck. Love it. 4 stars for detail. Gameplay potential. Yeah, really quite playable. I can't see a problem actually with it. I'm just not feeling the urge. Some maps you have the urge to play. So I'm going to go 4 stars. I think if it had the urge, if it had that magic factor, it might have got the 5th. Svanvik by PullaElisa. That is nostalgic with good standards. And that is all you can ask in life, isn't it? God, if you can remember music from the 80s, and you go, oh, that was... No, a lot of it was crap. A lot of it, I'm saying it, okay? A lot of it was crap. But some of it was really good. And what we had there was like a really good track from the 80s. Thank you, Pulla. Nice work. Anyway, thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing, for joining me for another fly through. One more map coming tomorrow. Yep, and it'll be the Patreon vote map. See you then. Bye now.